Hey guys, welcome back to a new video here. Will here from HPT again, and we're looking at basically how to set up your own crypto exchange. Over the past 3 months, I wasn't posting too much on YouTube. We were incredibly busy with clients. Me, myself, as a director as well, was very hands-on with a lot of clients and a lot of very large projects. And some of these projects were actually setting up a crypto exchange. Now, in 2026, we actually had a huge reset within the licensing, briefly 2025, 2026, in regarding to the VASP licenses over in the EU. They've changed completely. There's much more higher regulation, higher waiting times as well within the EU licensing for a crypto exchange. So in this video, I'm going to get into it in the types of licenses you can get, how the actual stack works together, the corporate structure, typically speaking of a crypto exchange as well, and various topics. If you are interested in setting up your own crypto exchange, you should probably reach out to us below. You're definitely in the right place. We've done it time and time again. And again, I'm going to explain for completely free knowledge of how to actually do this. So to actually explain the crypto license, guys, generally I've just got some notes in front of me. There's 6 main pillars, right? That is the actual trading platform itself on the exchange. Then we have the crypto to fiat exchange. So that's generally an OTC exchange desk, right? And that is the biggest burden, I would probably say. Within this, then you have your liquidity providers, your actual partners within the exchange where the actual back-end infrastructure runs through. And again, this is the main, what we call in the crypto blockchain world, on-ramp and off-ramp, right? So that's whether you're on-ramping cryptocurrency or off-ramping. So this is the key driver, especially to revenue when you are setting up a crypto exchange. Then again, when we have a crypto itself to the crypto exchange, okay? So that is the spot conversion within the cryptocurrency assets, right? And again, this can come from various liquidity providers. Some people use Kraken. We have a full stack of people that actually will be doing that. Fourthly would be the custodian and the safeguarding actual addresses of this one right here. And that is, that's much more for tier 1 licenses where you're actually holding client assets, right? Then we've got the brokerage and the execution. That's obviously executing the orders for the clients, and that's generally where you're going to be making your money, right? So similar to the actual the on-ramp and off-ramp, you're making the money on the actual exchanges, right? A lot of the times. And then there is transfer services. So that could be transferring the crypto on behalf of a client, X, Y, Z. So that's generally the actual pillars of the crypto exchange. Now, the 3 questions that kind of decide everything is number 1, where are your customers based? Are they based in Europe? Are they based in the UK? Are they based in Australia? Are they globally offshore? Are they in Latin America? Are they in Asia Pacific? This is a huge question you need to ask yourself. And again, these are the first questions which we'll actually be asking you as an inquiry when you come into HPT, is where your customers are located. So very key there. Secondly, do you touch fiat? Yes or no? Are you off-ramping, accepting actual fiat, and then obviously on-ramping it and sending the crypto, or what's going on? What's the entire business model behind it, right? So fiat rails obviously need banking dependency. They need the corresponding banks, and potentially then you would couple a crypto exchange with an MSB or an EMI license to facilitate that type of business model, right? And again, do you have custody of the assets? Again, custody actually triggers higher capital requirements and probably a more tier 1 license, right? And it's really, really interesting, right? Because everyone's got a slightly different business model. We've dealt with clients who have, we've gone to set up many crypto exchanges. We've also dealt with clients who have gone and exited their crypto exchange as well and sold that to private equity, X, Y, Z. But in terms of a corporate structure, what we see, which obviously what I generally chat about on the channel as well as fintech and other topics in offshore finance. And we would have a holding company. That might be in Singapore, might be in British Virgin Islands, might be in Cayman Islands, right? This typically, not always, but typically would then hold 2 companies below it. One would actually be the license, where you have the contracts with the customers, and the other one itself would potentially be the IT and the operations. Now, again, substance is not optional with a crypto license, it is necessary. You have the local services, the MLROs, the compliance officers, and all the back-end teams is all part of the substance picture. So don't get mixed up here. You can't simply just have an offshore random license and process clients' funds as an exchange, right, over in EU. It's not how it works. That's definitely illegal. That would come through as illicit funds in EG, potentially even money laundering. So it could get you into a huge amount of trouble. So it has to be structured correctly and set up correctly from the get-go, and you have to be very careful of who you're marketing and who you're actually providing these services to and why you're providing those services, e.g. source of funds, proof of funds, collecting that actual data, which now includes, as you have KYB, KYC, and also additionally KYC. Very important within it, right? And banking becomes before the licensing, right? So that's very key there. So typically when we actually set up a crypto exchange, before we actually set up the exchange, we secure the banking on the actual entity, right? And that is securing the banking first, clearly, right? And that's the capital wire confirmation, and that's actually wiring the share capital for the corporate entity that you will be setting up. And again, obtaining the actual confirmation is key to the regulators, right? And then we look at filing the application. No bank account is no license at the end of the day, generally speaking. Again, depends what licenses you're going for. I'm going to give a big rundown over the licenses shortly. But yeah, we're looking at 4 general licenses. We've got tier 1, which is premium onshore, okay? We're looking at EU, which is obviously the MISA license, recently changed from the VASP and the MIRA licenses regime. We've got VARA over in Dubai. We've got a MAS license over in Singapore, and we have a CFC, SC, an SFC license over in Hong Kong, sorry. Again, this is due to credibility and market access. Very key there, okay? Heavy capital requirements and heavy substance as well. Then we've got the traditional institutional offshore types of vehicles, right? And that's obviously a BVI FSC and a Seaman Cayman company as well. And again, that's fund world institutional finance credibility. Again, case by case for capital requirements, not as heavy as the premium onshore licenses, but definitely, again, much more heavier than the other licenses you're going to see coming into play. Then we've got the cost-efficient licenses, okay? This is Seychelles, Mauritius, El Salvador, and also a Canadian MSB. I'm also a Canadian MSB owner myself at ccyfx.com, so I'm very familiar with MSBs. Now, these are very workable, but again, non-US, non-EU books. So you've got to be careful where you're actually getting and serving your client customers at the end of the day, okay? Then we have some interesting ones. Registration only, which is basically tier 4 licenses, not the best licenses, right? This is minimal regimes such as St. Vincent and the Grenadines, SVJ, right? And this is fine for a prototype, but again, it's going to be fatal for banking. It's going to be very minimal. You're going to be very restricted in who your clients are, and again, what you're doing. I don't want to call it a shady license, but again, a tier 4 banking operation is not fantastic. Starting with a tier 1, so going back to tier 1, we have a MISA MICA license, which is basically a CASP, and that's an EU license, right? So it's the crown jewel, I would like to say, in passporting rights. So what I mean by passporting is serving the EU customers, right? So we're looking at, a device service around 50,000 euros, the actual custody and exchange around 125,000 euros, and the trading platforms around 150,000 euros. And again, you're looking at a 9 to 18 months. I'd like to say like 12, 13 months. But again, it's a very popular market. A lot of people are entering. We have seen backlogs within the regulators here as well. And again, this is the crown jewel of a crypto license. We can then see the Dubai VASP, very similar, right? There's no passporting, and that's the point. It covers Dubai, and that's full stop. It doesn't cover the EU markets. Asia, Singapore, again, Singapore, we're looking at $250,000 Singaporean dollars, and in Hong Kong, about five, and another maybe 3 million Hong Kong actual dollars as well. So again, the great licenses, they're all used for different things. Again, you can drop me an email, will@hpt.group, or literally fill out the form below, and you could find more information on me. So we could have a personal chat of what you're actually looking for. I'm not going to explain everything in this video, just simply go over. Then we got the Caymans and BVIs, right? And again, the lean launch jurisdictions, Seychelles, Mauritius, El Salvador, and Canada, which is a FinTrack MSB, right? So again, they're all there for a different purpose. So let me stress that, okay? In terms of time horizon, the weaker the license, generally the quicker. The better the license, the longer it's going to take. Going from 2 months over in El Salvador or a Canadian MSB, you can also acquire a ready-made license, which is another conversation and another complete topic, or maybe one that's already existing in trading and actually acquire a company as if it was a private equity buyout. We do help with these deals as well. But at the end of the day, it's completely depending on your business model, e.g. reach out and we can speak on a more formal tone, right? But what actually works, right? And that is multi-license structures. So you might have an EU and an actual Dubai license, right? Or you might have a Dubai and an Asian corridor. You might have a lean launch and then upgrade it to, once the revenue comes in, get some more investors and actually acquire a future license in the future once your business model is proven and you've proven to your investors you can be acquiring customers very easily and it's a successful business model. Again, every license is sort of different case by case. So it's not a general view, I'm just giving you an overview of what you can do to create an actual crypto exchange, right? And again, 4 things that go wrong here, just gonna make some notes. That's under budgeting, number 1, no resident offices, e.g. lack of substance, banking afterwards, not before, and again, license mismatch. And that's regarding where your customers are, who you're trying to market for, what businesses, is it B2B, B2C, who are these customers, why you're trying to get them, and that will then obviously match the license, typically speaking, why we can see multi-licenses being incorporated all the time. Budgets, as you can imagine, we're looking at 1 million plus for a top tier grade multi-license where you can EU passport over the UK, Australia, Dubai markets, Asian Pacific markets as well, as we can drop down to below 50K when we're looking at those tier 4/tier 3 licenses at the end of the day. And again, structuring all of this is also key as well. As I mentioned before, typically we would see a holding company, and maybe IT and tech, and the actual license itself. And this is for many reasons. And again, I can go into these in a private conversation, but hopefully that explains a very brief overview if you were ever interested, or you currently have a crypto exchange, want to expand your licenses, or you're interested in just making one for the first time and the business mechanics behind it, what it takes to actually set up, where your license would be, would you require multiple licenses? These are all the questions that you actually need to be asking yourself, and it goes back to those 3 main questions, and the main one is where your customers will be based. Very key there, and again, we've done this time and time again. Really depends. Very popular is obviously over in Lithuania, but we've also gone and seen other licenses pop up. For example, Lithuania, Gibraltar, EMI, for example, we see Malta come into play. We see other EU jurisdictions and Swiss SROs as well pop into the cards for Canadian MSB, and in Dubai, VARA license as well. We see many types of business models here at HPT Group, and we've seen what works, what doesn't work, and how to set up things correctly, and that's what we actually do. So other than that, guys, over and out, and I'll see you in the next video.